Hi, it's Mark. Today I want to show you how you can easily use the Oracle Autonomous Database free container image to work with Oracle on your own local machine. So I'm here at containerregistry.oracle.com, and I'm going to go into the database category, and you will see that there is an image here called ADB free. And this is the image that we're going to use. It's available for both 19C and 23AI. And if you scroll down, you'll see instructions how to start the container and some of the options you have available, and details about the CLI that you can use to create additional databases. This is an important point here. If we use a volume, then we can make the data persistent across container restarts. So we definitely are going to want to do that. And there's also information here about how to access the various user interfaces and get access to the wallet and so on. So let's go ahead and start this up. So I have a file here where I've copied the command. I'm also going to add in the volume. Volume ADB free volume, and we can mount that. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and run this to start up a container. So it's going to pull the image, obviously, because this is my first time doing this. So that'll just take a couple of minutes. Okay, so it's finished pulling the image and it's started our container. So you can see we have a container here. Let me make this a little bigger, called ADB free, running that image, and you see the various ports are exposed. So let's take a look at the logs. So the very first time, of course, that you start it up, it has to do a little bit of setup work to create the database and set up the certificates for ORDS and all that kind of stuff. So the first time it'll take a couple of minutes to start up. And then once that's completed, of course, because we use the volume, every time we restart it, it will start up very quickly because it won't need to do this work again. Okay, so I think that's started up. Now let's go to our browser, and we're going to go to localhost 8443 /ORDS and then SQL Developer. So this will give us access to the, let me put HTTPS. This will give us access to the web user interface. Now, obviously it's using a self-signed certificate, so we're going to get this message from our browser, and we'll just say that yes, we understand. Okay, so here's the sign-in page. The username is admin, and the password that we used was welcome12345. And I don't want to save that. And so here we are in the database actions user interface, same as you would get if you were using the cloud version of Autonomous Database. So you can see it tells us here about all of the different tools that are available. So let's go ahead and start in the SQL tool and see what that looks like. So the first time you're going to get this help tour. So and also it's going to encourage us to create a normal user rather than using admin, but for now we're just going to stick with admin. So we can run SQL commands right here. So for example, we might want to create a table called journal, for example, and we might want to have a ID number that could be, say, a number, and we might want to have say an amount, it's a number, and maybe we want to have a payee, which is a varchar 2 64, something like that. And we can run the statement here, and you'll see that we get feedback. Table created. Now we might want to insert some data into that table. So we can say insert into journal values, let's say $1, $25 for Bob's auto repair. And then we might want to have, say, number 2 could be, say, $100 for green grocers, or whatever that might, whatever we're interested in doing here. So let's go ahead and run that. Okay, and of course we can do a commit. And if we do a refresh over here, we'll see here's our new table. And, we can open that up and have a look at it. Here's our column definitions. We can see the data that's in the table. Of course, we can also do a select statement here and run that, and we'll see the output. So, we can do all our sort of normal relational database stuff right here in the SQL window. So what else do we have? Let's take a look in the JSON tool. So again, the first time you will get this tour if you want to take a look at it. So let's create a JSON collection, and we'll call this maybe birds. And now let's create a document here. So we can, let's see, create a new document, and we'll put maybe name Blue Jay, size small, and I guess color blue. Okay, so we can create that document. That we put that into our collection. If we do a search now on our collection, we'll see that we get that document returned. So that's great. We can work with JSON. What else can we do here? Let's see, JavaScript. So we can pop in here to the snippet and just start writing some code. So for example, let's say we'll import the MLE JavaScript Oracle DB library, which gives us access to the database. And let's say we'll create a connection. So we can say Oracle DB default connection. And let's run a statement. So let's create a variable called result. And we'll say, using our connection, execute some SQL. So let's say select star from journal. That's the table we created earlier. And let's print out the answer, the results. So we can say console log. So let's use JSON stringify to make it a little bit nicer. And we want to take the result rows. And I'm going to also put null into this. Will print it with 2 spaces. So we can go ahead and run this. And here's our output. So that's great. That's easy to work with JavaScript in the database. Of course, there's a whole bunch of other stuff here. You can load data. You can create REST APIs, all kinds of things. So let's create a REST API just for fun. Okay. So we can pop in here and say, let's create a module called journal. And we'll say, for now, we don't want to protect it. And we will create a template. So maybe we'll have, say, the ID number here as our input. And now let's create a REST handler. And of course, you can use all kinds of different things you can expose tables and views, or you can run PL SQL and so on. So we'll stick with a query, and we'll say select star from journal where ID equals the ID that was passed in. Okay, and we can test this, and we'll say, let's see, ID can be 1. Oops. Okay, I didn't call it ID, did I? I called it ID number. So let's fix that. And test this again. And there's our data that we got back. So very easy to create a REST API. We can also jump out here and do it in a in another browser tab, and you see the raw data that comes back. Okay, so what else can we do with this? Let's connect to the database from outside using SQL Developer, for example. So I'm going to jump back out here. We don't need that log anymore. And I'm going to copy the wallet. So I'm just going to say, sorry, not Docker, podman copy from ADB free. And the path the wallet is located in, this was on that documentation page that we looked at. So we want TLS wallet, and we're going to copy it to just our home directory. Okay. So here's our wallet here, TLS wallet that we just created. Okay. And so now we could actually connect with SQL Developer. So let's fire up Visual Studio Code, and we're going to install the SQL Developer extension. So we can go here to extensions and search for SQL Developer. And here it is right here, Oracle SQL Developer. So let's install that. And that will just take a minute or so. Okay, so that is done. And so let's go ahead and create a new database connection. And let me just make this a little bit bigger. So we're going to call this myATP, and we're going to have our username admin and our password welcome12345. Okay, and we are going to use a TNS connection, and we can click on this button here to tell it where the file is located. So we save that in our home directory under TLS wallet. So if we look here, we can see it automatically pulls in all of the network aliases. So let's stick with this one. We can do test, and test passed, so that's great. Let's save that, and now let's go ahead and connect. So I'm going to close this welcome thing here and just go into the SQL Developer view. So here's our database. We can click on this and it's going to connect, and we can see here our tables, like here's our journal table, and here's our birds collection that we created earlier. We can also from here create a SQL worksheet. So we can do things like select star from journal, and here's our query result. So that's great. So we can easily do a whole bunch of stuff, right here from our SQL Developer IDE as well. So what else can we do? We can also use the Mongo API, you recall. So if we take a look back in the logs here, it actually printed out the Mongo URL. So let me just go and copy that. so that I don't have to type it. Here it is right here. I'm just going to copy this. Okay. Oops. Let me do that one more time. I'm going to copy this. Okay. And so we're going to run mongosh shell. And I'm going to paste in the URL here. So we just need to update this. So we're going to have our user is admin and our password is welcome12345, and our user again over here, admin. Okay, and now because we're using self-signed certificates, we need to tell it to allow that. And the way we do that is with the SSL allow invalid certificates switch. Okay, so you see we've connected using the Mongo API. So now I can do things like, for example, DB. We had birds, for example, and I might want to find something in birds, and I can, for example, just find all documents. And there you go. So nice and easy to use. Okay, so that has been a bit of a quick introduction to how to use the Oracle Autonomous Database free container image to do local development. So I hope you've enjoyed it. Please leave a comment. If you have any questions, we'd be happy to help. See you next time.